How's everybody doing out there? All right. I have another deep dive into an issue of Flex from September 1998. And I'm noticing on the cover here, it says, new hormone products better than anabolics. Now, that just reminds me, on one of my other videos, and I can't remember which one or when I said it, but I believe that I described pro-hormones as a synthetic agent that stimulates a weak strain of your own natural testosterone. And I got that confused with something else, but actually a pro-hormone is a precursor to a hormone, okay, that ultimately becomes testosterone, a hormone in your system, geared for gains and so forth and so on. That's what a pro-hormone really is. And there's a lot more to it than that. But for starters, just look at it as a precursor to a full-fledged hormone. That's what a pro-hormone is. So just wanted to correct myself on that. And I can't put it in the video because I can't put it in the actual video where I said it because I don't remember which one it is. I've done a lot of these deep dives, obviously, so that's the correct definition of a pro-hormone. All right, got Ronnie Coleman on the cover here. And it says, the Olympia without Dorian, bodybuilding star, speak out. And I was thinking, and speaking of which, it says serious science here. I have some serious science for you. All right. Now, I know personal trainers are expensive, but for those of you who may be able to afford one, I suggest you hire a personal trainer, for at least a few sessions. And here's the reason. Personal trainers, oh, by the way, when I say a personal trainer, I don't just mean some gym dude. I mean like someone who has a certification or a degree, like an advanced certification or a degree in the field, kinesiology, exercise physiology, even sports medicine, something like that, but a really good certification is good as well. But someone who legit. And the reason I suggest you do this is because personal trainers keep you reeled in. A legit personal trainer is going to care about aspects of exercise that you don't care about. All right. And the problem that I've had with training clients over almost 30 years of doing this is people only care about one or two aspects of exercise. And that applies like 95% of the time. They care about one or two things, and that's either getting huge or getting ripped. And let me add a third one. For the women, they tend to want to tone up, which, is ridiculous because, really the correct definition of toning is muscular contraction. It's muscular resistance. People with low muscle tone can't resist force, but somehow it's taken on a new meaning, which means that your muscles are discernible. So I guess you could consider it the same thing as ripped, but they either want to get big or they want to get ripped. That's all people care about, especially the younger people. The older people tend to want to regain their balance. They want to regain their mobility. They tend to want to have less back and hip pain and less knee pain, but the younger people, they only care about changing their looks. You know what I mean? And it's even worse in 2025 with social media because everybody wants to take selfies. So it's just looks. I want to look better. I want to impress people. I want to be jacked. I want to be ripped. That's all they care about. And for us trainers, the shit becomes ubiquitous. We just hear it over and over and over and over again. So when you hire a trainer, they are there to focus on the aspects that you don't care about. And the aspects that you don't care about are actually more important than what you do care about. Because the truth is, the biggest, at least one of the biggest mistakes that fitness enthusiasts make, and it's everywhere. They're all over the internet. Even a lot of the so-called fitness influencers, they make this mistake of honing in on one aspect of exercise, which is actually the opposite of being healthy. If you're just honed in on getting bigger, well, obviously you're not going to be focused on cardiovascular health, because if you want to get truly bigger, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to do cardio the way that you should. Here's manly ass Kim Shavesky. Goodness gracious, look at that. Oh my God. You aren't going to be able to do cardiovascular training the way that you should. Because if you want to really give yourself a leg up in terms of aging, you're going to want to do some really intense cardio at some point. And when you do really anaerobic cardio, and then you go down to aerobic and then back up to anaerobic, kind of like maybe an interval training, or maybe you can do the aerobic first and then focus on anaerobic at the end. You're going to burn calories that you need to build and sustain muscle tissue. You're just going to lose muscle no matter what if you're doing super high level anaerobic cardio. Or I'll just say all out cardio, because really anaerobic cardio includes aerobic cardio as well. You're going to lose muscle, and that's just a fact. If you're completely honed in on getting jacked, you're going to lose mobility. That's a fact. Okay. And conversely, if you're just focused on cardio, I've met people that do nothing but cardio. That is unhealthy as well, because there's all this pounding on your knees and hips. You're doing all this running, but you're not strengthening your ligaments and tendons. Okay. You're not strengthening the muscles that control and regulate and stabilize your hips. You're not strengthening your back. So if you just do cardio, that's unhealthy as well. If you just focus on yoga, which is great for mobility, that's unhealthy as well. Because you're not improving your capacity to deliver oxygenated blood to all the muscles. So focusing on just one aspect of strength training is the opposite of healthy. It really is. If you want to do it right, you want to focus on all of it. Now, if you're a pro bodybuilder, I understand you can't do that, and here it says the Olympia without Dorian, and I just passed it, but they're talking about the successor to Dorian's footsteps. When Dorian retired, I know he started doing yoga, and I don't know what else he does. I don't know if he does strength training as well, and cardio. I don't know, but I know he's started doing yoga. I guess he had enough. I'm sure he had enough of that super heavy lifting he was doing. I'm sure he's not doing that anymore, but he retired from bodybuilding, and I'm sure his thinking was, well, now, I can do whatever I want, but still, if you really want to optimize your potential for longevity, you want to do everything, and that's a fact. And that's what personal trainers are good for, among other things. Because a really good trainer should know how to design perfect programs. I don't mean just okay programs, but perfect programs. Perfect, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to do that. Because I'm not going to get into all of that right now, because then the video will be 2 hours long. But I will say that when you design a program, you don't want to upset the physiological system of checks and balances that I described in my last video. Okay, physiological system of checks and balances is there to make sure that no one muscle or muscle group becomes dominant over opposing muscle groups or adjacent muscles. All right, so you want to design programs in a way that you don't upset that physiological system of checks and balances. It's not easy to do that. So that's something else that we offer as trainers. But keeping you honed in and focusing, helping you to focus, or okay, maybe we won't help you to focus on it. If you want to completely focus on getting big and ripped, then fine. The trainer can focus on the other stuff that you maybe aren't educated enough to focus on. Put it that way, and when you're a trainer who's really good at it, will be focusing on, joint mobility, joint longevity, avoiding joint deterioration, neuroplasticity of the brain, and again, the physiological system of checks and balances, balance, overall functional strength, mobility, just general mobility, hip and spinal mobility. We'll sneak that in a way that half the time you won't even see it. So you think that you're just focusing on getting jacked like this, but we're adding in elements that maybe you aren't aware of, that will help you to avoid getting injured, like some of the stuff that happened to Dorian Yates, tearing your bicep, so forth and so on. So that's what a trainer does. All right, because your general fitness enthusiast, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, I'm just stating that, without an education in this, you're going to focus on the aspects that appeal to you. And that isn't enough. Your general fitness enthusiast, and you have to remember, I've worked in gyms for years, I hate gyms now. For those that don't know, I work out at home. I absolutely do not go to gyms. I don't belong to a gym. I'm sick of gyms. Just after working in them since 1996, I just prefer to work out at home. But I watch people work out for ages, for absolute ages, session after session after session. And, I know that they're focused on one aspect. I've seen it over and over and over again. And I know for a fact that it leads to overuse injuries or overuse issues in long-term structural health issues. And when I look at your general fitness enthusiast workout, they remind me of my cat. I have a cat, and when she likes wet food, for those who don't know, that's the opposite of dry food. It's not the crunchy stuff. It's the stuff that comes in cans. And sometimes, this is about Bird or Fox. Okay, I remember this. The food that she likes, it tends to be like a meat and sauce type of meal. It's like, or meat and gravy. There's always a lot of gravy or sauce with it. And in some cases, she likes the sauce so much that she'll lick all the sauce and all the gravy out. And then when I, look at the bowl later, there's all this meat left, and all the sauce is gone. She's eating the sauce. I'm like, God damn, well, what about the rest of it? You're wasting it, and then as the meat dries out, she definitely doesn't want it later. So she's just wasted money, but she's just, the cat is just eating the part that she wants and leaving the rest. If you've ever seen a little kid eat Oreo cookies, like really little kids, they'll often take the Oreo cookie and they'll open it up and they'll eat the cream filling and they'll leave the cookie. And when they're really little, like toddlers, you better not leave them anywhere near the package, because they'll put the cookie without the cream, and they'll put the shit right back in the package. And then you go in later and you see Oreo cookies that are partially eaten, with the cream licked out. They're just eating the part that they want. They're consuming the part that they want and leaving the rest. And that's what 95% of gym enthusiasts do. Is this they're just consuming the part that they want and leaving the rest. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. I used to practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if you guys, if you watch MMA, you've heard of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And there was a kid whose father, I talked to his father, and his father ran all the time. But that was all he did. That's all he did. And it's just not a smart approach. Because like I said, if all you do is run, you're going to say, oh, well, that's healthy. It's great for my cardiovascular health. It's great for my capacity to process oxygen. Great for your max VO2, so forth and so on. But all of this pounding on your hips, knees, ankles, and that pounding affects your back as well, your intervertebral discs, and there's all this pounding with no structural protection because you're not strength training. You're not strengthening your ligaments and tendons. You're not strengthening your core. You're not strengthening your lower back. You're not strengthening the erector spinae, or the thoracic region of your spine. So there's bound to be some type of crazy slouching and, poor posture while you run. Your running mechanics are going to be more poor because you aren't strengthening your musculature. So, but again, that's just another case of somebody focusing on the aspect of fitness that they want and leaving the rest. And I don't mean any disrespect, but that's really stupid. It's ignorant. And that's what most people do. You go and look up half the fitness videos on YouTube. All they're talking about is how to get bigger, how to get shredded. It's it. And they're doing a disservice to the people that are listening, And again, I mean, if you're a pro bodybuilder, if that's what you want to do, then that's just how it is. You can't focus on every aspect, because you won't maximize the appearance of your physique if you focus on all aspects. So I get it. If you're a bodybuilder, if that's really what you want to do, if that's how you want to make a living, then you have to focus on just one aspect, because bodybuilders, the cardiovascular health or fitness that they do is just enough to lose body fat. They aren't jacking their heart rates up super high, which they should, because that'll give you an advantage when you get older, because like I said, as you get older, one of the first things to go is your capacity to produce nitrous oxide. Okay, in other words, your blood vessels don't dilate the way that they did when you're younger. Now, you can take supplements to help that. Like you can take L-arginine when you get older. L-arginine enables you to, it helps to produce nitrous oxide. It does. And it does other things as well. So you can take supplements for it to help out. But as you get older, it's going to give you a great advantage if you are used to processing a lot of oxygen, or in other words, if you're used to extracting a multitude of oxygen from your blood, you'll have an advantage as you get older. So, but bodybuilder can't really do that because they'll lose muscle. So I understand, but in my opinion, if you're making your living as a bodybuilder, then have at it, man. If you're paying your bills as a bodybuilder, then you have to do what you have to do. But what I personally think is stupid as hell is when some guy, just some dude who does whatever he does for a living, he's not making a living as a bodybuilder, not making a dime doing it, you know, but you're sacrificing all these other aspects of your health just to be huge so you can impress people. That's clown shit to me. It is clown shit. It's major clown shit, you know. And I think people, you know, are developing a sickness when it comes to that, you know, because of social media, you know, all the selfies and all of the attention, the attention, the starvation for attention. Jeez, man, people are so hungry for attention. It's like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Look at my selfie. You know, it's making people worse and more vain and more stupid. You know, and yeah, I have a YouTube channel, you know, but trust me, I'm not here for attention. Okay, fuck your attention. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make my freaking job better. You know, I'd like for my job to be easier. And if people are more educated, you know, about exercise and what it really is, then it helps me out. You know, it makes my job easier as a career personal trainer. You know, that's the main reason I'm here. And I get like this wonderful natural high getting this stuff off my chest because people have a warped idea of what fitness is. You know, about what strength training is, you know, and you may want to adjust that before it's too late, you know, because when you just focus on one aspect, when you get older, when you become an old man or an old woman, you're just going to be a typical old man or old woman. You know, you're going to be just like everybody else. You know, I mean, how many bodybuilders have you seen who are on walkers and in wheelchairs? You know, with all the freaking problems that any older person has, you know, this is because their approach to fitness was not well-rounded. Okay, they're just focusing. Like I said, they're like my cat with her cat food. You know, they're just eating the gravy and leaving the meat. They're eating the gravy and leaving the meat. You know. They're like a kid with the Oreo cookies. They're eating the cream filling and they're leaving the cookie. You know, that's why. But if you do that, you're going to be an old person just like everybody else. You know, but when your approach to strength training is well-rounded, old age is completely different. You know, I'm 53, and believe me, I'm not your typical 53-year-old. You know, yeah, just functionally, the way that my body looks, my body fat percentage, you know, everything, just the way that I move, and I run my ass off. I have some of the most brutal runs. I run up and down hills after doing aerobic duration cardio. You know, I don't focus on just one aspect, and I do a lot of hip and spinal mobility and just overall mobility training, which keeps me limber. And of course, I do strength training as well. You know, and that's the ticket, man. If you want to age gracefully, you know, if you want age to be nothing but a number, you have to have a well-rounded approach. And that's what personal trainers offer. So just remember that. You know, if you can afford a trainer, try it out and see what it's like. You know, make sure they're legit. All right, Jay Cutler. Man, speaking of career bodybuilders, yeah, on his way to winning the heavyweight division at the 1996 NPC Nationals. Is this him? Is that Jay Cutler at age 17? It looks completely different if that's him. Yeah, he has some hellified genetics, man. Jay Cutler. Definitely. And I don't know I would imagine most of you have seen that quad stomp picture that he does, or that he did. It's in black and white, the O without Big D. And that's an iconic picture. Yeah. Dorian was great, man, but, you know, he definitely won. Yeah, I hate to say this. I mean, I've said it before. It's not like I haven't said it, but he won a few too many titles. Because, I mean, with that torn bicep, I just don't get how you win titles with a torn bicep. You know, because essentially in bodybuilding, it means that you're missing a bicep. Your front double bicep pose is done. Your back double bicep pose is done. You know, it even affects some of the back shots. I mean, if you know to look for it, you know. But yeah, before he tore that bicep, man, Dorian was a bad dude. He was a beast. Oh yeah. Yep. The rotator cuff and the elbow regions are some of the most injury-prone areas for working bodybuilders. Very true. Don't forget the knees and the hips, you know, but well, the knees and the hips are tend to be more so long-term, but the rotator cuff, man, yep, absolutely, absolutely. And if you're anybody who is bodybuilding, you know, I would do internal and external rotation for the rotator cuff, and there's a lot of ways to engage your rotator cuff, but you should be doing rotator cuff work before you get injured, man. Don't wait until you get injured to start training your rotator. All right, if you're proactive about it, you can limit your chances of getting injured. All right, so train that rotator cuff now, please. Yep. Who's this guy? Contact Steve Winterstrom. What the hell? Oh, what the? I thought that was a... Southern California's Renee Tony knew she would probably create some commotion when she took the stage at the NPC. Wow. Oh my gosh. She might have Kim Shavesky beat as far as manliness, dude. Look at that face. Looks like a man. She looks like a freaking R&B singer from the 80s, like a male R&B singer from the 80s, dude. Jeez. Oh my goodness, man. What are they thinking? Yeah, I don't get that. You know, I don't get that at all. You know, if you're doing something and it totally makes you look like a completely different gender than what you are, it seems like a big red flag to me, man. I couldn't do it. You know, I don't care what it is. The day I wake up and I start looking like a chick, it's going to be a scary moment for me. Super supplements. Yeah. Tribulus. I remember Tribulus. That was all the rage for a while. One gun. Build quality biceps one at a time. If they're talking about isolateral or unilateral bicep training, I agree with that. Yeah, oh, okay, they're talking about dumbbells. Okay, so that's close enough. I actually agree with that. Because people are prone to, or can be prone to, having a mismatch side versus side in terms of development. I mean, but that could also just be genetic. You know, just the way one muscle belly is shaped versus another. I love this. Blood and Guts, man. That's you know, a really great video, man. I wonder if it's on YouTube. It probably is, but that's a really interesting video. You know, Dorian training, man. You know, before all the social media, you know, you didn't see or hear from Dorian until it was contest time. I think that's something that I miss, you know, because like now on social media, you see, you know, bodybuilders, you know, 6 weeks out, this is what I'm looking like, you know, 8 weeks out, this is what I'm looking like. I just think that's just stupid, because it kills all the suspense, it kills all the anticipation, you know, and just in general, social media kills the mystique of everything. Like I grew up listening to Michael Jackson and 80s music and early hip hop and Prince and everything. And it just wouldn't have been the same, if Michael Jackson was posting social media, hey, I'm working on my album here, and then they'll maybe play a little bit of it in the studio. Stupid. It kills the mystique. It really does, man. It's people get to see you too much, and it kills some of the excitement. But the way things were in the 80s, you didn't hear from Michael Jackson or Prince or whoever, while they're working on an album. You might hear that they're working on a new album. Okay, you hear about it. That's it. Nowadays, they'll bring you into the studio, through social media. Here, look at what I'm working on. It's just a dumb idea, in my opinion. It really is. But yeah, that's why, in part, why bodybuilding was so exciting back in the days, because we didn't see these guys, over and over and over again, year round. Look at what I'm looking. Look at my shape. 6 weeks out. Look at my shape 8 weeks out. So I don't know. Don't be a sucker. Don't be a slave to social media, man. Use it when you need it, and leave it at that. Use it when you really need it. But I just don't believe in, just making yourself available for people 24 hours. It just doesn't make sense. It kills your mystique. All right, this is about it. I'm just at the tail end here. For those of you who made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching. I know a lot of you don't make it this far. That's another thing about social media. There's so much stuff to click on and nobody has a fucking attention span anymore. I look at the analytics for my videos, and some of the watch times are like, 4 minutes, the average watch times. The people will click off after a few minutes because there's something else to click on, and you might miss out on something that can change your life. This chick is huge. She's actually not too unattractive. She's too muscular for me, but she does have some femininity and sex appeal, unlike some of them. So, but anyway, yeah, you could be missing out on something that'll change your life, but you're clicking off to look at something else. It's people have no attention span anymore. It's really weird, But for us older guys, we had to have an attention span because there wasn't, 50 bazillion things to look at. We had to pay attention. All right. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like if you liked it. It really helps out with the algorithm. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment, because that also helps out with the algorithm. And also subscribe if you liked it, because that also helps out with the algorithm. All right. And again, this is PLA Mind and Body Works, and I will be back with more information on the fitness industry, personal training, and strength training in general. All right. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye-bye.